The demand for justice in the Captain Kalia case has been growing louder. This after reports that the Indian government will not be taking up the issue with Pakistan during the visit of its Interior Secretary Rehman Malik to India. We asked the Minister for External Affairs, Salman Khurshid, the direct question on whether India will push for justice in the Captain Kalia case or not. The response was barely convincing, with no assurance coming from the government at all.
So Captain Kalia's father is fighting a lone battle. He's gone to the UNHRC as well now. What's stopping the government from backing him, from providing any sort of help? What's the restraint?
We are not holding back. I have said so earlier. Extremely sad event in which a very valued, and not just one, but many very extremely valued, important young people representing this country and defending this country were given treatment that cannot be but condemned. But having said that, we all have to follow some procedures that would advance the cause of the country as much as it advances the cause of an individual who represented the country. And I think that's what we need to factor in every time we take a call and take a decision on this. That is the only constraint that I can imagine. There is no question of any other constraint. We stand by him fully in his prolonged agony and sorrow. And whatever is possible for us to do at any step and stage, we will certainly do it.
So will you urge the Home Minister then to take up the matter with Rehman Malik?
I think the Home Minister knows his job. I can't, and he's a senior colleague of mine, and I don't need to nudge him or urge him to take up any issue. But when consultations take place in preparation for the meeting, I'm sure that these matters would come up in due course. Thank you.
Alright, my colleague Maha Siddiqui is through with us on that story. Also joining us is defense correspondent Shivaru. But I want to ask you first, Maha, what is stopping the MEA from taking up Captain Kalia's issue with Rehman Malik when he's on an India visit?
Well, Padmaja, the point that they are trying to drive through is that there is no way that Pakistan will accept or admit the fact that their army tortured Captain Kalia, and therefore they feel that they will make no headway by raising this issue with Pakistan Interior Minister Rehman Malik. Also, you just heard Salman Khurshid there say that certain procedures have to be followed to advance the cause not just of an individual but the country. So he's pretty much giving a hint over here that this matter might not be taken up with Interior Minister Rehman Malik when he visits India.
Sure, I want to bring you in on this point because you've been following this case for over a decade now. When the External Affairs Minister talks about procedures that need to be followed, what are these procedures that still haven't been followed for the last 13 years? What are these lengthy procedures? Shiv, can you hear me?
I think Salman Khurshid's answer pretty much, puts it in stone that this issue is not going to be taken up when Rehman Malik actually visits the country. The other point is the procedures that Salman Khurshid is talking about are pretty simple. It's a member state actually flagging an issue and then following it up, building an international legal case using consultations with every possible resource you can and actually getting it done. This is the stuff that governments are able to do because of the resources that are available to them. They've got attorney generals, they've got lobbyists, they've got advisors who they pay millions of dollars every year who can put together cases of this kind. The government simply hasn't done that. And I think when Salman Khurshid says he doesn't need to nudge his senior colleague and that all these issues will actually come up at the same time, I think, it's wrong to be cynical, but I think in this particular case, I would put my money on this issue not coming up when Rehman Malik is here.
Well, that point has been made pretty clear by Salman Khurshid right at the outset. But Maha, I want to ask you, since Mr. Khurshid is so bent upon procedures, exactly at what stage is the government's attempt to try and get justice for Captain Kalia?
Well, they've already explained to us why they feel that they cannot take up this matter. Now, our sources have been telling us that if they take up this matter at any international forum, Padmaja, the first question that will be put to them is why was this matter not taken up for 13 long years? Now, if I quickly break down the international fora where this matter could be raised, the International Court of Justice where this matter could be taken up, there is a constraint there because there is a precedence of the case of Atlantic, where India had shot down a Pakistan plane that was violating the airspace, and this matter was not taken up by the International Court of Justice when Pakistan had gone to them, because there is an agreement and there is a clause which says that Commonwealth countries cases will not be taken up. So if India goes back to the ICJ with Captain Kalia's case, then Pakistan could raise this issue. As far as the International Criminal Court is concerned, neither of the countries are members, and therefore that case cannot be taken up at that level. As far as the UN HRC is concerned, MEA has said that they'll examine the petition that has been put up by Captain Kalia's father. But then again, there is a sense that I get, Padmaja, that they feel that there is not much headway that can be made at the UN level also. At most, there'll be a resolution and nothing more than that, because Pakistan is never going to admit its guilt.
Alright, Shiv and Mahan, just stay on with us. There is outrage within the political class. Even army veterans are standing up for the cause of Captain Kalia and his entire family. While Dr. N.K. Kalia has petitioned the UN Human Rights Council seeking justice for his son, backed by Rajya Sabha MP Rajiv Chandrasekhar, many others are demanding action from the Indian government, urging that an inquiry be started to find out who was responsible for the inhuman torture and murder of Captain Kalia and 5 other soldiers.
Look, ideally, this is the job of the government of India. There is no doubt about that. But if the government of India does not do what is right by the family of Captain Kalia, the people of India have to do. And so that is what we are doing. I agree with them. Ideally, this should have been something mooted by the government of India and the Ministry of External Affairs. They have not done so in the last 12 years. So therefore, it is up for us to do it, and we will do it.
Alright, I want to ask you a final question, Shiv. All that has happened over the last one month, we've seen Captain Kalia's father going to the Supreme Court, now going to the UN HRC. Every single response that has come from the government, doesn't it reek of betrayal?
It reeks completely of betrayal. It reeks of a certain measure of shamelessness, because the funny thing, and we've all discussed this and talked about this, Padmaja, is that this isn't even an issue that can be politicized. That's why you're not seeing any finger pointing. Usually such an emotive issue, you'd see a sense of polarization. You'd see a tutu meme going on between the BJP and the Congress. In this particular case, the guilt, the culpability, cuts across party lines. You've seen the BJP betray Captain Saurabh Kalia and his family. You've seen the UPA across 2 terms do exactly the same thing. Now, keeping all procedure aside, apart from, complete neglect and the kind of anger that this story has engendered, it's probably time for somebody in the government to bite the bullet and say, this is an emotive issue. We've got to do everything we possibly can, take all the resources that are there for us to deploy, and see that justice is done. Because it's been 13 years, and I think someone owes it to that family.
Absolutely. In fact, I should just stay on with us. The father of another Kargil martyr, Colonel V.N. Thapar, now joins us. Sir, the government has done nothing but stonewall every single attempt that Captain Kalia's family has made to finally try and get justice. If it cannot help them, the least one would expect is that they would at least try and not stop any efforts that they are making. What do you make of this government's response, the kind of tepid response they've given to Captain Kalia's family?
I mean, it is quite evident. Quite evident. The lack of concern. Like this is what is likely to happen. On one side, you want to
Colonel Thapar, I'm sorry, I'll have to cut you short because there's some problem in that audio line we've got with you there. We're hoping to get back to Colonel Thapar in just a while, but I want to bring in Shiv again at this point. Shiv, also time and again, war veterans have spoken about the message that we are sending out to our armed forces. This at a time when the Minister for Defence, Minister of Defence, has himself said there's a huge shortage of officers and jawans in the army. Why would men want to get in when people don't even get justice once they are dead?
So that's an absolutely excellent point, Padmaja. The fact that across progressively over the last 8 to 9 years, this particular government has eroded so much of the image and the faith of the armed forces. First you saw it with the 6th Pay Commission, then you saw it when when Field Marshal Manekshaw died, then you've seen it with the one rank, one pension issue. You've seen it with this huge, this community disenchantment among ex-servicemen of the armed forces.
Absolutely.
It's something that is really important. You flag an important point there
In
when
fact,
you talk about the
in
armed
fact, let me
forces.
put that question to someone from that community. Retired Major General Sadhbir Singh now joins us. So, what do you make of the kind of government response that has been given to the entire issue of Captain Saurabh Kalia's family seeking justice?
Padmaja, this is a very sad story. In India, the defense services are not being given their due justice in any respect. Captain Kalia and his unfortunately martyred himself in the hands of the Pakistanis, and they brutally murdered him as well as 4 or 5 of other Jawans. It's a sad story that after 12 years, nothing has happened.
General Singh, I want to ask you a specific question. Rahman Malik, the Interior Minister of Pakistan, is going to be in India. Preparations are being made to give him a romantic celebration for his birthday. But why can't this opportunity be used by the government to pick up the issue of Captain Saurabh Kalia and 5 other soldiers who were killed by Pakistani men during the Kargil war? Why doesn't the government want to do it?
Not only this subject must be taken up and broached with him. This is the time to tell him also that while we put up a hand to shake hand with him and also welcome him, we also feeling very sorry that the Pakistan continues to throw hatred on all peoples of India, especially the soldiers. And not only this, I want to touch another subject, 54 POWs which are there in Pakistan. In fact, Mr. Bhutto, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, when he was also jailed, he mentioned about these 54 people in the next room of the prison where he was. Unfortunately, the government of India, as well as the government of Pakistan, I do not know what shake hands they have done to each other. They just don't want to take out any of the POWs. We returned everything of theirs, 90,000. We returned back at their store. Right. Whatever the territory we had taken, 542 martyred in Kargil war. And we are there at Saichen, have lost 4,000 people over the last 10 years. What the government is doing, it is unfortunate.
Well,
the profession of arms is being reduced to nix because the youth does not want to join up because of all this apathy by the government.
Absolutely, and it's not just apathy, it's a double betrayal of a man who gave up his life, of men who gave up their lives to keep our borders safe. Thank you very much, General Singh, for joining us.